Hey, what's up guys? UrAvgWarGamer is back with another video for the warships. And in this video, I will be taking a look at all these steel ships that we currently have in the armory, and I will be reviewing them one by one, but this is going to be a very short review. Just gonna be focusing on the strengths, the weaknesses, and whether they are worth it as of right now. That's it, just because we are going to have a coupon in 2 weeks from now, and I thought that if you guys are saving steel for a steel ship that you want to buy, I think this is gonna be a very good guide for that, starting with our first steel ship, which is going to be the Russian battle cruiser, the Stalingrad. This ship, by the way, has released for quite a long time. It's been released almost more than 8 years, or at least 7 years from now. So that's a long time. So whether it is worth it, well, let's talk about its strengths. Amazing thing about the Stalingrad is the guns. If you are looking to get the guns and the Stalingrad for it, I think this is an amazing cruiser. Battle cruiser dispersion, 2.65 sigma, which is unlike anything in the game, and that accuracy that you would love to see on battleships, well, you can get sort of that in Stalingrad, and your accuracy, the dispersion, the shell velocity, amazing shell velocity. In fact, you're just gonna clap cruisers. You do have improved ricochet angles like Petro if you just want to know, and you do have really good penetration on the guns that will even settle battleships. Unlike Petro that can do that maybe at around 10 kilometers, Stalingrad can do that even at further ranges. And that's why these will have strike cruisers sometimes, because of this accuracy and the penetration and the improved ricochet angles, the reduced arming threshold. So the guns is the biggest reason why you want to buy the Stalingrad. The survivability is also insane. 76k HP, 25% torpedo belt, pretty decent. And your armor is tanky, 50mm side armor, 50mm deck armor. So it's unlike Des Moines or I would say the Salem. That ships suffer from 457mm caliber guns. Stalingrad will definitely gonna tank a lot of shells from every single caliber in the game. However, let's talk about the weakness quickly. Really bad concealment. If you are looking to disengage in this ship, it's going to be very difficult. The destroyers will, however, spot you. However, one more thing that I just missed out is the radar and defensive fire. The radar is short, but better than Petro, and that's why it's good. You do have heals. You do have 60 seconds of cooldown on DCP, so it's nothing like special. But then Stalingrad has some sort of survivability, at least against destroyers, which is radar. Weakness. Just like I said, concealment, really bad armor, at least on broadside. Very tanky against bowing in, but man, this armor is way much exposed. 180mm citadel deck side armor. This is gonna get clapped if you broadside. So this is something which is going to be the biggest weakness. Bad concealment and bad maneuverability, terrible turning circle, and bad citadel. If you can understand these things and if you can mitigate these things, the guns will definitely carry out a lot of games. And that's why, at the end, is it worth it? Absolutely worth it. It's still very unique, unlike anything in the game. It's still unique than Petro in its own way and design philosophy. Range is also, by the way, better, so it makes it pretty comfortable for me to say it's worth it. Alright, so we have the Komissar, which is again another Russian cruiser, but this is gonna be a hybrid ship. Yes, that's right, it does have planes. Now, if you are looking to get the CV playstyle along with the cruiser playstyle, I think Komissar is for you. Let's talk about the strengths. 12 guns, cruiser dispersion, insanely good penetration, even better than Moskva, and then these AP volleys will absolutely hurt cruisers. It's kind of like having the penetration like Moskva, slightly better, and then you also have improved ricochet angles. 12 guns. It will smash broadside. Trust me. It will do wonders if you understand, and if you even try to look at the numbers. Komissar is amazing. HP pool is pretty okay. I'm not going to say it's impressive, but it's okay. It's sort of a heavy cruiser, but we will come to the weaknesses once we are completing the strengths point of view. Your aircraft are Nakhimov tier 10 aircraft, Nakhimov rockets, so they can do a lot of damage to the broadside battleships or even cruisers. So they will be doing good. And can spot for yourself as well in return. You can even spot destroyers. So huge advantage. Guns, HE shells, I haven't even talked about it. 22% fire chance, 3.4k alpha. You basically like a Soviet ZAO. I mean, Tech 3 ZAO, I'm talking about that. So it's kind of like that. And shell velocity, again, as usual, Russian gets amazing shell velocity. You do have 10-kilometer torpedoes for somewhat, protection if battleship pushing you, which is pretty nice. You do have really good firing angles on the torpedoes. The firing angles on the guns are somewhat lackluster, and then we will come to the weakness afterwards. So these are the strengths that kind of makes it good. Like huge strengths, anti-defense having special abilities, which is like improved defensive fire. Continuous A damage is 100%, so if you use defensive fire, you can shoot down planes. This is basically American defensive fire onto the Soviet ship. Unlike, I don't know why, but it's unique, which is pretty nice. Weakness. Extremely vulnerable hull, man. I mean, 30mm side and deck armor, so it's not like Pedro, Moscow, or Stalingrad. So that is a huge difference. And a weakness. And also, the biggest weakness is that it does not have any trollish armor like that of Smolensk. Armor thickness, 115mm. And armor is like way raised above waterline. And then since you do have like not that good HP, or I would say compared to like Petro, Moscow, or Stalingrad, you're basically blurring the line between being a heavy cruiser but having light cruiser on broadside. Like, you're just gonna get death struck if you broadside. Honestly, it's just so bad in this. Like, it's terrible. And then you have 25mm bow and stern, so yeah, no icebreaker. So bowing in, you're gonna get smashed. It's bad. This is the biggest weakness. You have to play it very safe and comfortably. The range is also like, the base range is like 17.2, not that impressive, honestly. The guns were really good, but then your armor and the range is like really mitigating that Komissar strengths, like controlling it to be, broken or something. So if you can understand these aspects, like turning circle, terrible turning circle, speed is good, terrible turning circle, I think then it's going to be, a deciding factor. But is it worth it? Komissar, I would say, is worth it after Stalingrad. I think it's a good cruiser, but it's a very squishy cruiser. It's going to take damage. You have to play carefully. Like long range farmer, yeah, Komissar is exactly that. Pushing in, well, Stalingrad can do that, but Komissar, no way, not even close. All right, so the next ship, R.Lauria, the Italian Tier 10 457mm caliber battleship. So strengths, obviously, you have SAP, and also you have 457mm caliber guns. 30mm overmatch on cruiser, you will just pen cruisers everywhere. And with this insane alpha, 16.6k, you will just do so much damage. It's kind of broken against cruisers. If you land the shells, which kind of goes into the weakness, but however, Wargaming does give it battle cruiser dispersion and 1.8 sigma, which again, for me, in my opinion, kind of lacking. It could be better with 2.0 sigma. If they would have done that, that would make it pretty disgusting. But yeah, the shells are a bit wonkier, which again will explain in weakness. HP, again, sort of okay. Again, we'll talk about this in weakness. However, for, I would say, biggest strengths going for the Lauria is going to be the torpedo protection. 39% is pretty decent. Also, your speed is pretty good. 36.8 knots of speed on a battleship without speed boost. Really impressive. Your concealment, you have 12.3 kilometer concealment. Very, very good. These are the strengths that I'm talking about Lauria. So, in that department, it will do wonders. You do have AP, hard-hitting AP, and you do have SAP, which I have already explained. Improved pen angles on SAP is just going to absolutely obliterate battleships. 20k salvos with 4 shells is possible. That's how powerful it is. The deck armor is one of the very interesting and the unique thing about the Lauria. 120mm deck armor is something that you will not going to be finding on any battleship in the game. Insanely special sort of armor, resistant to a lot of powerful HE shells. Even Thunder HE shells might not be able to pen it. Like, it's that good. So the guns is the bread and butter, and then followed by speed, concealment, and this weird, interesting tech armor. And also, the superstructure is like literally small. That's the strength that Lauria does have. Now, let's come to the weakness. Really bad HP. I'm not gonna say it's good. You don't have special heals. So again, I will consider it sort of a weakness. 83k can be lacking. You do have 5 heals, but normal heals. You do have spotter plane, but having bad range. I have used the range mod, But if you don't use the range mod, you will have like 18.9 or 19 kilometer, which is like very unimpressive for a battleship. So pretty unimpressive range. Not good in that regard at all. And then your armor profile is weird. You do have gigantic citadel. This whole thing is citadel, by the way. And then you also have this citadel, by the way. So that means that you will take a lot of damage. If some battleship know your armor scheme, they will hit here. And they will just gonna get consistent citadels. So it's pretty terrible in broadside. Like honestly, it's just gonna take a lot of damage. And then even though you do have like 33% citadel repair thing going for it, but it's still not gonna mitigate enough. And also, you have bad turning circle. Honestly, like 1,000 meter turning circle, yeah, you will turn for days and you won't be able to turn very quickly. That's what I would say. Your anti is terrible. Like, Seavis will just love you. I don't think so there's any other way of saying it. Seavis will love farming you. You're just going to get farmed to that. There's no other way of mitigation. So these are the weaknesses that if you understand, you should buy R.Lauria. Is it worth it? No, it's not worth it. Why? There is Colombo. Colombo with 16 sap shells, dispersion improvement with mod. The upgrade mod is just gonna make R.Lauria very, very sort of not worth it. Like why you are spending steel if you can just buy a R.Lauria? So uniqueness is only 30mm overmatch with sap. That's it. Otherwise, everything will be performed by the Colombo better. Overall, and you don't have smoke. This is also a weakness. You don't have smoke. So that's why I would say it's not worth it. At least if you have Colombo with leg mount, as of right now. Okay, so let's talk about the Pan-European destroyer Ragnar that comes up with the biggest strength, and that is the radar. Is it worth it? Well, I will explain that. So the Ragnar strength, very special dispersion on 102mm guns. You have 30mm pen, 11% fire chance, alpha damage is good. Like cruisers, reload time is, I would say, okay. Would have loved to see better reload time, but it is okay. You still have like 176 kg DPM. Your range can be pretty good, but your shell velocity gets pretty meh over for 13-14 kilometer. But you're still having good range. If you want to build it for range, you can do that. Massive HP pool, 31,500 is pretty impressive for a destroyer. That's also one of the strength. The guns are the strength, at least taking on cruisers, and special dispersion, like better than destroyer dispersion is like crazy good. Anti-defense is absolutely crazy once the planes come into 4 kilometer. 669k, medium range A guns damage. That is pretty good. And also you do have consumable like heal, which is pretty good. You have a radar. You literally have a radar, which is going to be lasting 30 seconds. So which means that if there's a destroyer that spots you, by the way, your concealment can get up to 7.5 kilometer, radar 7.5 kilometer. Anyone spots you, you pop the radar. And then you can just farm that destroyer in the smoke. And then you can trade that way. You do have heal. You do have special engine boost. Does have very long cooldown time. But yeah, that does come very handy, very important thing to have in Ragnar. And these are the strengths that Ragnar does have. Let's talk about the weakness. Well, I think the weaknesses are starting to get a lot much more bad, I would say. Now the 7.5 kilometer concealment is not good. If you don't have radar, you have a lot of trouble. You can't spot the DD. That's the biggest weakness. You can counter the DD with radar, but you cannot spot the DD after the radar, which is a weakness. Also, your weakness is once you don't have the speed boost, you are extremely clumsy, very big. Yes, I haven't even talked about the strength, 25mm side armor, that does help a lot. But even then, you take a lot of damage. You are a bigger profile, bigger target, bigger than destroyers. So yeah, that HP pool that you have can deplete quickly. Also, the weakness is not that, I would say, adequate DPM. The DPM is good, the special dispersion that does help, but still it can be lacking, and which is something that I don't like. These are the biggest weaknesses. Like that clumsiness will definitely gonna be making life really hard. And then if someone if you're broadside with 25mm side armor, any destroyer that has good AP DPM will just gonna eat your life if you are not angled enough. Big weakness. Along with the shatters that you can do with HE, this is also a weakness that you have on Ragnar. So, is it worth it? No. Again, why? There is a better version, which is the Svea, which I will be explaining in this video. So Svea is a better alternate than Ragnar. It's a cruiser, but it does better things since it does not have a torpedo. I haven't even talked about the torpedoes. It will just do everything better than Ragnar, and you can just leave Ragnar out right now and save your steel, and you can just buy a better version, which is Svea, which is also a pan-European DD. Alright, a German steel destroyer, Z-42. Strengths. Well, the strength is going to be hydro. 6 kilometer hydro. You have short burst smoke generator. This is the very lethal combination. And your concealment is so good. Well, it's not good, to be honest, but since you do have a hydro and short smoke combo, you push the destroyer, you pop hydro, you smoke for only 40 seconds. You do a lot of damage with your AP, which again is going to be a bigger strength. You have 10 guns. The reload time is okay. It's, I would say, average, but you have like 10 guns, and then you just have this improved AP alpha, like you find on any other German destroyer. But here comes the biggest strength of the Z-42. You will simply pen destroyers on broadside. Yeah, you just go hydro, smoke, and hydro, and then if the destroyer pushes you, you're just going to be absolutely smash them once they are turning out. Once they turn out, they realize they are in trouble. They turn out, you shoot AP, you do 5k, 6k volleys in one salvo. Biggest strength. AP is insane. AP, look at the AP DPM. Just obscenely good. Like, it's super impressive. You do have torpedoes, which again is a strength, but not impressive torpedoes by any way at tier 10. Again, sort of a weakness, which I will explain. Short smoke, the guns, that does have HE shells, and AP on broadside will just do hurt, and the speed boost. This is the thing that Z-42 comes up. This is a package. This is the strength that I would say that it has. The speed is okay, I would say slightly better than average, and it kind of gets good with these strengths. Smoke, short smoke especially, like it's really good. You're getting the British gimmick on the German destroyers. Now, here comes a lot of weaknesses. Yes, obviously, it's very good. Like, those strengths that I have explained are extremely powerful. There's no doubt that the counter DDs like this is just crazy good. Weakness, radar can be a big threat. If someone angles against your AP, if they are not broadside, you are switching to HE, which just have like extremely anemic 1.2k alpha. So HE DPM is just absolutely crap. Even though it's still better than Ragnar for some reason, 191k. So you will still gonna be setting some fires, or I would say fire DPM will also gonna be indirectly better than Ragnar. But then it struggle if against DDs with this TPM if you are not using AP. The short smokes, well, these are the strength. If the hydro runs out, you have 6.2 kilometer concealment. That will be a problem, but you can smoke up. But again, that worse concealment definitely comes into a weakness. You don't have anything special. You don't have anything special going on except for the short burst, hydro, and guns. And your HP pool is also kind of lacking, I would say, compared to today's standards of destroyers in 2025. Your torpedoes are very anemic. 8 of them, 13.7k damage, 62 knots. Not impressive whatsoever, not special whatsoever. I would say it's sort of a weakness, low range as well. So with these weaknesses and these strengths which I have explained, is Z-42 worth it? Yes, over the Ragnar, it is definitely worth it. I feel that it's unique with the short burst. Like, you will not going to be finding anything for Germans, and the ability to penetrate destroyers on broadside because of having that threshold less than 19 millimeters is just so good. Like, every other, I would say, like, for example, the L-Bang, Z-42, they will just overpen. It will not. It will simply not because of that lower caliber. And then Gunther Ludians, man, it's amazing on Z-42. So, worth it for sure for steel. Alright, so the next ship, the cruiser. This is Austin. It's a light cruiser. It has 12 guns with SAP and AG shells. So, the strengths. Well, the strength is very small profile. It almost feels like destroyer in its hull. The hull is like overall, it's a small profile. So, it will take less damage or can dodge shells effectively sometimes. Another strength, extremely good concealment. 9.3 kilometer concealment is kind of like that of Minotaur at tier 10, which is a British tier 10 Tech 3 cruiser. So that's where it is pretty good. Your speed is good. You can improve it to 36.8 knots. So that is also the strength. Also, the anti-air defense is very impressive. It can shot down a lot of planes. I mean, with defensive fire that you have, and with a lot of flags, 11 flags, you find this on only CVs at tier 10, and you're getting it on Austin. It's really good. The biggest strength that Austin is that it has SAP and HE shells and have infinite main battery load booster with 75% minus main battery load time. So you will just triple your DPM if I'm not wrong. Like, you're just going to be improve the DPM by many times, and this will just increase your SAP DPM crazy with HE DPM. Like, you will if you shoot HE, you set tons of fires. Like, if someone DCP, you use this reload booster, you will set ton of fires. So it's a lot of fun. If someone broadside, you just shoot so much SAP that you might just obliterate it in just one reload booster that lasts for 15 seconds. You do have heals, you do have hydro, which is kind of gives it some utility. And that's the biggest strength. Concealment, torpedoes, 10.5 kilometer torpedo, really good angle, firing angles. This is the strength. Very good turning cycle, very good radar shift. This is the strength. Weakness. Well, there are a lot of weakness. You don't have any radar. Just forget about radar. You, unlike any other, American cruiser, you don't have radar. Once you have main battery load booster runs out, you will have anemic, I would say, DPM numbers compared to many other cruisers at tier 10. So your numbers will go lower than all the other cruisers overall once you don't have main battery load booster. So that's a sort of a weakness, I would say, big weakness. So HP pool is pretty bad. 35,000 is really anemic compared to many other cruisers that has like more than 40,000. Even Colbert, which is a research bureau destroyer, has more than that. So bad torpedo protection. And again, one big weakness is that, like, this is like the biggest weakness. It has like 32 millimeter deck armor. So Stuma, Yamato, Incomparable, they will just simply overmatch your deck armor, and you will just simply going to get Citadel. So those are like very high, powerful profiles that you have to really be playing careful to get a lot of fun from this SAP and HE with the reload booster. Otherwise, it's a really fun ship. In my opinion, is it worth it? Yes, Austin is worth it. Austin is unique. Austin is like fun. It's not about carrying games. It's about just sniping someone. You can snipe with SAP, and you can just set like 2-3 fires with HE shells if the DCP with the reload booster. Like, it's very unique. The shell velocity is also good, by the way. We didn't explain it. So that is something which makes it good and worth it. All right, let's talk about FDR, American Steel Aircraft Carrier. Well, strengths. Amazing deck armor, 87 millimeter. It will just gonna shatter everything, every AP, and even most HE in the game, except for the Conqueror and Thunder. You will just gonna shatter everything at long ranges. You are very tanky at bowing in if they are shooting you at long range. So very good armor, tanky deck armor. The side armor obviously is gonna be weakness, but let's talk about strengths first. The most tankiest planes in the game, FDR has those planes. 4,100 HP on torpedo bombers, 3,900 HP on HE bombers. Like, torpedo bombers, HE, they are absurd. And also they have special mechanics that will guarantee you to just drop perfect drops on torpedo bombers. Go and check out the review of mine. Go and check out my videos. What I'm trying to explain cannot be explained here unless you see the gameplay. But you can maneuver such a way that the torpedoes will just gonna be perfectly aimed out to the battleship. You have 8 torpedoes. Your alpha strike with 8 torpedoes is massive. You have 7 attack flights with HE bombs and torpedo bombers with insane HP. You are a flying fortress, which is, there's no carrier in the game that is that unique as FDR. I've played a lot of games in FDR. It's broken against battleships, which is the strength. It's very strong against heavy cruisers, which is again its strength. It suffers from destroyers and light cruisers, and it does well even against aircraft carriers. Exceptions are there. If there are, like, for example, the Midway, you cannot pen their decks. I would say Hakuryu will not going to get penned. But you do have like insane penetration, 10.6k alpha, 62% fire chance. So they will just do wonders you will just gonna be obliterating battleships like crazy, and you're just gonna go and strike after 25 seconds, which again gonna be a weakness, but you will just strike upon strike upon strike. This is the strength. Everything else is, I'm not gonna say, I would say add to strength, but yeah, these planes are the tankiest, unlike anything in the game. Biggest weakness, vulnerable citadel. You just can't do much. You don't have a smoke, unlike A6 and Shinano is a steel aircraft carrier, so there is the edge that Shinano has over FDR. Vulnerable citadel, so yeah, you take a lot of damage. AP will hurt you on broadside, so don't do this. Maneuverability is terrible, so it's against just like aircraft carriers, but the maneuverability, you cannot rely on that. The bombs are very sluggish. They are very difficult to maneuver, and they are prone to eat flags. If you don't practice it, and if you eat defensive air fire flags, well, even though the HP is a lot, you will just gonna lose a lot of planes. So it's difficult to play, and that's a weakness. It's difficult to master, and it's easy to play. Very difficult to master. If you understand, then FDR is something. Then FDR is just the boss against battleships. Light cruisers and destroyers, you will absolutely suffer, because torpedoes, even though you maneuver the best, they will still dodge you. They have better maneuverability. The destroyers can only be dealt by the bombers. Your aircraft rocket planes are, I would say, crap. They have nerfed the aircraft carriers with the rocket rework. They have given so much delay, and they have make the reticle so big that the rockets just only do some damage to battleships, and even then it's pretty low compared to torpedo bombers, and bombers do not use it. Is it worth it? In the uniqueness, oh yes, it is. If you want to play it in division and want to farm battleships like Conqueror, Thunder, or anything like HE Spammer, or just obliterating battleships, open water, and I would say isolated, there's no other carrier better than FDR. FDR is just going to eat battleships alive. It's just a flying conqueror at this point. Flying fortress with the tankiest planes in the game. So that's where it is pretty good. Your HP is also pretty good, but it's worth it, I would say, yes. Is it difficult to play? Oh my goodness, it's very difficult to play. It's not easy because of those planes and its maneuverability. Alright, where I have left the FDR, we have the Shinano, the Japanese counterpart. And I would say it's better than FDR. Yes, it's better than FDR. Now, it can deal against destroyers amazingly well with torpedo bombers and HE bombers. You have two armaments compared to FDR's one, and FDR will have extreme difficulty landing those bombs, which I haven't even explained in FDR. But yeah, amazing torpedo bombers, very, very, little to no dispersion on these torpedoes. So it's going to be extremely difficult for any ship, let alone destroyers, let alone even cruisers to dodge. Battleships will 100% eat these torpedoes. No way to dodge them. Fast torpedoes, good concealment on these planes, so they are stealthy, 7.5 kilometer. Torpedoes hit hard for 7.2k. It's good, man. Shinano is good. Tanky deck armor, the side armor better than any other aircraft carrier in the game. Better bow armor, 27 millimeters. So you're just gonna be shattering a lot of AP, at least bouncing a lot of AP. And look at that. This is gonna be resistant to 406 millimeter caliber gun. Yamato class hull, by the way. So which means the best torpedo protection for a carrier in the game goes to Shinano. Yes, amazing torpedo bombers, broken skip bombers. These AP skip bombers makes it broken, unique. That's the strength of the man Shinano. Shinano, devastating against aircraft carriers, battleships, cruisers, and not obviously against destroyers, but then you have torpedo bombers and bombers. HE bombers set fires, you can send floods to battleships, and you will just do so much damage. You can either play it as a citadel damage machine, or either you can just play it as a dot damage over time machine. You have that flexibility, unlike FDR. You have smokes, unlike FDR, and you have heals, unlike FDR. FDR does not have heals, which again is a weakness. So there are many strengths, and your secondary have just Graf Zeppelin dispersion, really good reload time, and the range 9.2 kilometer. Any destroyer comes on top of you, he's gonna get farmed with these secondary shells. So yeah, secondaries are so good and very defensive sort of ability with smoke and these secondaries. Like, it's too good, man. Shinano, at least farming battleships is still gonna be the king FDR, but Shinano is like the queen to do everything better than FDR. At least against destroyers, even light cruisers, you can just send torpedoes. Weakness: Yamato class hull, big citadel. It's not like having 400 millimeter, citadel armor. It does have 160 millimeter side armor, so it's very vulnerable, extremely difficult to maneuver, very bad speed compared to many other tier 10 carriers. Turning circle is huge, and rudder shift time is also basically Yamato class rudder shift and turning circle almost, and even worse. Concealment is, however, decent, but this is a weakness, yes. And these are flimsy planes, not like FDR, like half the HP, literally half the HP than FDR planes. 2k HP, 2.1k HP. So yeah, gotta be careful. Using these planes, using the heels on the bombers and torpedoes are very important. You do have smokes to self-defense, but if you are not having smoke, it does have battleship fire duration. Biggest weakness of Shinano, your DCP only gonna last for not a lot. It's a battleship DCP. Your cooldown time is 70 seconds. You take a lot of damage. You take a lot of damage from fires and floods if they are permanent. So battleship levels of farming from fires and floods. Biggest weakness. That's why you have smoke. And that's why I would say better than FDR. And is it worth it? Absolutely freaking yes. Oh yes, it's better than FDR. For sure. But FDR is also unique to be worth it. And Shinano is also unique to be worth it. And these ships are pretty, I would say, overpowered, to be honest. Alright, submarine, Archerfish. Amazing HP, just like with all the American submarines. You have guns, believe it or not. That's another strength. You do have hard-hitting torpedoes. You do have like homing torpedoes that does 10k damage almost, and then alternate torpedoes as well that are better in concealment compared to Gato, which is another steel submarine, which we will explain later. But yeah, decent concealment, like really long time dive capacity, like 6 minutes is really ample, but the recharge time is terrible. So you only have to rely on a dive capacity that you have got, but you have almost 6 minutes of dive capacity, and then you do have like reserve battery unit, and you do have heals, and those heals will just heal 5k HP per heal, so you can heal 15,000 HP, and Archerfish can have like 35,000 HP total. That's really huge. And you do have engine boost, which is unique, like 15% engine boost. You're literally getting almost French levels of engine boost. What the hell? So it's very unique, very powerful. The torpedoes load very quickly. You have the F key. It automatically starts upon when you get 2 torpedoes onto the single ship or something like that. Yeah, even if you tank some potential damage, it will just quickly improve the reload time of torpedoes and consumables as well, which means, yeah, your submarine surveillance will be relatively quicker to load than any other submarine if you just proc it at least once. Like, you have amazing package. Underwater maneuvering is gonna be the weakness, which I will explain, but if you utilize the battery, these are the strengths. The weaknesses, biggest weaknesses, bad recharge time. I have explained it. Underwater maneuvering is 70 knots, so very difficult to just get out of the position if you are spotted or getting spotted by a hydro or something. So very difficult to be in the maximum depth. Suffers a lot, and your battery is also gonna be depleting pretty quickly. But then you have these battery reserve battery unit. That's the thing that it only suffers. Except there's also one more thing, which I didn't explain, that it does not have hydrophone. You cannot spot for yourself if you are in maximum depth. You have no idea if there's destroyer coming. Like, this is the biggest weakness, and all the strengths that Archerfish has are kind of better than many other submarines in the game. Like, it's just better in every aspect, except you don't have the vision for your own self. So you are very reliant on someone if you are in maximum depth. So that is something which is a biggest weakness. If you mitigate it, Archerfish is overpowered. If you won't be able to mitigate that vision thing, then Archerfish is actually balanced. Like, but still, a good Archerfish player will just gonna absolutely wreck havoc onto the battleships, cruisers, and even destroyers. And you do have the guns to kill low HP DDs. You do have the DCP that lasts for 15 seconds, and you have a lot of consumables, unlike any other submarine. So, is it worth it? If you are a submarine player, and if you want to get the unique experience, and you want to have these torpedoes that are just reload quickly with F key, yes, absolutely yes. It's really powerful. It's overpowered submarine. If you find yourself to have a vision, I didn't. How can I just forget that? Insane speed with the engine boost, and with this and with captain skin, you can go 46 knots. Yeah, I think that should be enough to tell you. 46 knots submarine. Well, that's the uniqueness you can get from Archerfish. So is it worth it? Yes. Alright, so the Gato, another submarine, another steel submarine. Strengths: hard hitting alternate torpedo with long range. Like, you kind of feel like gearing, but on a submarine. Like, you just send torpedoes, they reload quickly, they have long range, 16.5 kilometers, you just send them and you might hit them. They hit for 22k. That's almost Shimakaze level. The speed, the detection can be something that I would like to explain it in weakness. But man, you have 6 torpedoes on front, 4 torpedoes on back. You just send so many torpedoes. Your loaders are better than, I would say, the Archerfish. You can load more torpedoes compared to the Archerfish. Archerfish load slightly lesser because it has 2 front loaders, whereas Gato has 3. So that's sort of a difference. Again, your alternate, sorry, you do have sonar, you do have homing torpedoes, but only 6 kilometers. So it's not basically utilized for, I would say, those homing capabilities. It's relying on these alternate torpedoes. The dive capacity is less than Archerfish, but then you do have better recharge time, like significantly better recharge time. So you can just survive for very long. But however, that's the only strength that it does get. The weakness, it does not have reserve battery. Its alternate torpedoes started to get no unique whatsoever, especially you are getting K1 sub, which is the tier 10 tech tree Soviet sub. That does better. That does just straight up better. It does everything like Gato, but just sort of in a unique way, in its Russian flavor, but better. So the Gato is not unique at all. No reserve battery. You do have hydrophone, but it's a big weakness. You just don't get the extra time whenever you are in trouble from those reserve battery unit. It sucks. You don't have those guns like in the Archerfish again. Another weakness, you do have good HP, but your submerged speed, like maximum submerged speed, is kind of like similar as Archerfish. So that's the problem. Speed is good, but it does not have access to engine boost. So yeah, if you completely rely on alternate torpedoes, that's not going to make it unique. That's kind of the thing of the Gato, that are these alternate torpedoes. And well, a lot of weaknesses are pretty much existing in this ship, I would say. So is it worth it? No. I would say there are many other good alternate options. For example, the Archerfish is a better submarine, a lot more flexible. And then there is K1 that has alternate torpedoes. Not the hardest hitting torpedoes like Gato, but still. So not worth it. I don't think so it's good currently right now. It used to be overpowered. It used to be good. They have nerfed the shotgunning, by the way. So yeah, that's where it was pretty insane, but now it is not. All right, Mecklenburg. German battle cruiser, 16 guns. Strengths, I would say 16 guns. Battle cruiser dispersion, 2.05 Sigma, 16 guns, 305mm caliber. I mean, they are amazing. I mean, you can slap battleships without citadeling them. That's a sort of a weakness, which I will explain in the weakness section. German characteristics with battle cruiser dispersion on these 16 guns. You're going to be clapping cruisers for sure. Like, this amazing dispersion will definitely going to help you a lot in clapping cruisers. HG pool is decent, at least compared to Schlieffen, but it's worse than Kurfürst. So I would say, okay, I would still kind of put it into the pro, since your armor profile is very good. 50mm side, 50mm deck. So you are basically having a battle cruiser guns, but having a battleship sort of armor makes it pretty nice, I would say. Resistant to citadels, like all the German battleships, so you're not going to be taking citadel damage, you are only going to get pen damage, which is a big strength, to be honest. If someone just show broadside many times, you will take pen damage, but not citadel damage that cannot be healed. So that is pretty good. The guns are the bread and butter though, and you do have torpedoes, which is again a strength. Unlike many other battleships, you do have torpedoes. You do have defensive air fire, which I will show here, which is unlike many other battleships. You do have spotting aircraft or fighter, so a very good flexibility that you can get on Mecklenburg. You do have pretty good range. Firing range is already 22km, but you can improve it, or you can even buff it against CVs by using fighters. Pretty good strength. Concealment can go as low as, I would say, 13 point something kilometer, or I think 14 kilometers. So that is not something I would say either a strength or weakness. But anti-air is definitely, with fighter, is a very good strength. CV, you can definitely stop the CV strikes, even if they have bigger squadrons with fighter and defensive air fire, for sure. This is the strength. Like the guns, the AG shells, it does have 26% fire, 27% fire chance. If you not able to get broadside, then you can just switch to AG and you shoot so many shells. You're just going to do a lot of damage. Now here, I'm using IFHE, and that's why you might be seeing the numbers are not exactly 27%. So don't worry about it. But man, your HE shells, since you throw so many, and your AP is disgusting on cruisers, makes it pretty powerful. I would say the best German cruiser in a battleship hull in the game. Weakness, terrible firing angles. Like, terrible. It's not good. Like, the firing angles are like, you're just going to show broadside all the time, almost all the time. Also, your HP is kind of lacking. Would have loved to see more HP. Your torpedo protection is lacking as well, 20%. And there is something that not makes it unique, which is, I would say, the heals. You do have heals, but only 80 seconds of cooldown time. Would have loved to see better healing, like I would say 60 seconds or something. Would have made Mecklenburg a lot tankier, but you won't find it. So these are the things that you have to get away with. And yeah, these are the weaknesses of Mecklenburg. Like, showing a lot of broadside while shooting guns is like the biggest. And then you do have gigantic superstructure. I mean, you're just going to get farmed super quickly like all the other German ships. So it's not like mitigating any weakness in that regard. And then you 50mm deck armor. So it's not like 80mm that you find on the sides of Frederick de Gross Pommern. You do have secondaries, but you don't build it for secondaries since you are having so reliable guns. But you can still have 11km secondaries, which I just want to give you sort of a nitpick, that if you want to build it for secondaries, you can do that. So that's why. Is it worth it? Absolutely yes. The guns are so consistent, so reliable, and so unique for 16 guns with battlecruiser dispersion and 2.05 Sigma that I must say it's worth it. It's definitely one of those interesting German battleships that kind of plays like cruiser, but it does well as a battleship. For sure, buy this steel ship. I would say it's worth it. Alright, so there it is, the Svea, which I was saying is better than Ragnar. If you have looked at the Ragnar, honestly, Svea is very good cruiser. Really good HP, since it kind of feels like destroyer, but on a cruiser, class. You do have short burst smoke. I can't show you that because I haven't bought this ship, but I am really looking forward to farm enough steel to get the Svea as fast as possible because it is that good. Your DPM is pretty good. I mean, if you build it for DPM, you can just get it pretty, like over 200k DPM. You do have 7 guns, by the way. That's why you might be seeing like less DPM. You do have like good HE DPM. You have basically Ragnar guns, almost like Ragnar guns, 52mm caliber guns, 4.5 seconds of reload time, and you do have the cruiser armor, which is pretty nice. You are very small. That's another strength. Like basically a destroyer profile. The whole design is not that big. It's small, but you do have tanky armor, 30mm armor. Like it's kind of give it itself very much that tankiness that you find against those 406mm caliber guns or below. If you are angled, you just tank a lot of damage. The overmatching is difficult since you do also having the small hull, just like I'm saying. Really good guns, destroyer dispersion, You have short burst smoke, you have radar, you have 9.1 kilometer concealment, and you have these special engine boosts like you find on Ragnar. Like everything that you find on Ragnar, but except better because you do have the smokes. You do have the disengaging capability that you are struggling to get in Ragnar, and you are just a self-reliant cruiser. You have short radar, like Gdansk, slightly better than Gdansk, but then you have short burst smoke, and then you have 9.1 kilometer concealment with 9 kilometer radar. That combo is lethal against destroyers. Your anti-defense numbers are decent. 3.5 kilometer is somewhat a bit lacking compared to Ragnar. Ragnar definitely felt a bit better in the A department, but everything else Svea is better. Everything else Svea is better, at least in my opinion. The torpedoes, you do have torpedoes unlike Ragnar. Fast torpedoes, 13.5 kilometer range. They hit hard. They don't hit hard, but they have long range and they just reload quickly. 70 seconds, 4 on each side. So you just send torpedoes every time, every 70 seconds. It's, I mean, if you want to buy a light cruiser version that is as self-reliant as Stalingrad with radar, oh my goodness, Svea is so amazingly good cruiser for sure. It's a good cruiser for sure. Pick it. It's worth it over Ragnar. Don't even consider Ragnar before buying Svea. And Ragnar started to get a bit stale in its monotonous 4-gun design. I don't like it. At least you do have that flexibility, the speed boost, and also the smoke just makes it pretty good. Like pretty worth it. Maneuverability wise, pretty good. And also you do have airstrikes. Again, plane-based airstrikes. Oh my goodness. This is something that it just makes it straight up better than Ragnar for sure. Like you can counter submarines like this pretty well. Range is decent for a HE spammer, and also the AP can hurt well. It's worth it, guys. I must say the armor profile, the guns, and everything that it gets. Svea is definitely a package that I'm really looking forward to buy as fast as possible. It's good for a steel cruiser. Definitely buy if you have the coupon waiting for you. All right, so there it is, the Italian destroyer A.Da.Barbiano. This is the recently released destroyer that a lot of you guys might be thinking that it is worth it. Well, I will explain the strengths first. Well, for a cruiser, for a destroyer, it's a destroyer by the way. But for a destroyer, massive HP at 32,000, you can improve it to like 36,000, 37,000 or something. Really nice. Like, your DPM numbers, if I talk about it, it's literally cracked. 640k SAP DPM, 3 seconds of reload time. You have 16 guns. You basically packaged like a cruiser on a destroyer class. Like your gun performance, your DPM numbers are kind of have that weird blurriness, as if you are playing a cruiser, but then you're still playing a destroyer because of that bad shell arcs. But man, this is the strength that it has. Like insane DPM numbers. You can improve it even further with the reload mode and everything. And you do have exhaust smoke generator, another strength. For a cruiser, DPM, like crazy DPM numbers, almost like Austin reload booster levels of DPM numbers. You just get to the broadside and you just smoke up exhaust smoke generator in someone's spots. You're just going to be hammering that battleship broadside. Oh boy, it's just good in that. You do have F key. You can either get 26mm pen or 34mm pen. You do have like 2 shell types. You can just quickly buff the shell penetration, SAP shell depth penetration, but you will just gonna have slightly worse reload time in return. But that is pretty good on broadside British, French battleships, and any battleship or cruiser that has 30mm side plating. It's pretty good in that. So you can bait the cruiser on to broadside and you just basically hammer it with using exhaust smoke. Your speed is pretty good, 39.6 knots base. Improve it further with the the speed boost. Your concealment is for the cruiser extremely impressive. For destroyer it is bad. 8km, you can make it to 8km, which again I will explain the weakness. Strength is the HP, the SAP DPM number, and that exhaust smoke generator. Like cruiser DPM numbers, okay? The weakness, very, very sluggish, like not good turning circle, not good rudder shift time. It's a big ship, almost feel like cruiser. Sorry, I didn't even talk about that it does not have any citadel. Like the existence of non-citadel mean, like you don't have citadel, which means if the battleship shoots you, it does not matter. It will overpan. That's a big, that's like a huge strength for that HP pool that it has. But the weakness, let's talk about the weakness. Concealment is bad. Destroyers will spot you for days. But if you spot destroyer in return and you get close, you will just eat it. You will just eat like a breakfast. Yeah, you're just going to be eating like an absolute crazy breakfast meal. Weakness, the sap, only sap. Like you don't have HE shells, so you cannot set fires. If they don't broadside, your DPM numbers dwindle super quickly. So it started to get really bad. Bad concealment, sap only limits you a lot. You have to build it for range. 11.4 is definitely mediocre. You have to get the range to just comfortably play it open water if you are shooting while not smoking active. Terrible anti-defense, like absolutely garbage anti-defense for a destroyer. Like, oh boy, CVs will love you. The rockets will just do so much damage. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So a lot of weaknesses. If you caught broadside, you don't have anything like except for the speed boost and exhaust smoke. You don't have hydro or anything that can just help you like cruiser. You are a destroyer. You literally are having a destroyer HP pool. So it's not like suddenly a cruiser, even though you do have a lot of DPM. But apart from all that, apart from the absurdity in one side and big weaknesses on the other, like you have extremes in the Barbiano. Extremes. And even with the extremes, I would say, is it worth it? Yes. It is worth it. Like Austin, it's one of the most fun destroyers that you don't want to play for winning game. You just want to have fun. For pure fun perspective, Austin and Barbiano are worth it. For carrying games, Austin is a lot better. Barbiano is not better whatsoever. Like, it's not gonna carry games. If someone play it in ranked, someone playing, at least you can play it in clan, but again, you have to set your situation with your division mates well to make it work. But yeah, in the rank battles, in the random solo, I mean, I don't want to just comment on it. It's a terrible experience in carrying games. And it's an amazing experience in those moments where you just farm so much shit ton of damage. And that's where it's worth it. Just for fun. Alright, the Shikishima, the Japanese battleship with 510mm guns. Well, I'm just gonna skip it to worth it because, well, Shikishima is basically an example of kind of not unique at all. In fact, you can get the Shikishima in a version of Satsuma. You have 8 guns on Satsuma with F key that improves the dispersion, even though Shikishima does have built-in slightly better improvement in dispersion compared to Yamato. It does have 2.1 Sigma. You do have 6 510mm guns, but you don't overmatch something interesting. You don't cross that threshold, which makes the Shikishima guns interesting. And that's why I'm not going to say it's that good. Like, hard-hitting AP, obviously 19.4k alpha, but you are finding everything that you find on Shikishima on Satsuma. Satsuma at tier 11 does everything like Shikishima. It does have improved credit earning because it's a premium. It's not worth it. As simple as that. It's a Yamato hull with 6 guns, 6 unique guns, and slightly better anti-defense. I would say, at least compared to Yamato, a lot better anti-defense. But even then, it's not worth it. If you want to get the alternate version of Yamato, you're looking at Shikishima with 6 guns, 510mm. I don't think so it's worth it at all. You just play Satsuma and you just do well. That's it. No uniqueness because the Satsuma is available right now. For free. Just grind it for some credits and you will have the better Shikishima version, at least at tier 11, obviously. So, not worth it for sure. At least in my opinion. Alright, so Incomparable. Strengths. Armor scheme is somewhat better than many other, like, at least one. I'm talking about only one aspect. There's one biggest aspect of Incomparable that is like a biggest weakness, but just to give you a perspective in tanking if you are angled. If you are angled, this ship is better than many other British ships in the game. 50mm, 51mm armor thickness. Side armor is also 102 and 152. So you can just resist a lot of HE. Yes, you do have a lot of superstructure, but still there is some resistance factor that you will find. And also the overmatching factor. At least you are not going to be overmatched by Satsuma and Yamato like this. So that's where the Incomparable is good. That's one of the strength that Incomparable has. On the other hand, you have 6 guns, 508mm caliber guns, so it is a bit different than Tsutsuma, and kind of makes it slightly better in terms of the dispersion performance. You do have 2.0 Sigma with battlecruiser dispersion, with I would say almost roughly equivalent reload time with better AP alpha, 19.5K versus 19.100. But I think that's the strength that it has. Like the guns are special British overmatching guns that if you find it interesting, well, that's basically it. It has tons of weaknesses, which I will explain. But however, there's one more thing that it has. It does have speed boost, which I can't show you because I don't have this ship. It does have hydro, like you find on Daring, very long duration hydro, so you can just spot torpedoes for yourself. So speed boost, hydro is pretty nice. Like it gets that, and you do have spotter plane or fighter plane, which you need. Like you basically need that spotter plane for yourself. Otherwise, it's a terrible experience in Incomparable if you don't even have a spotter plane. I think this is the weakness. You have the best concealment for a battleship in the game. Almost best. There is like Hull 14 that comes close, but at tier 10, 10.6 or 10.7 kilometer is just stupidly stealthy for a battleship which is that long. So you can outspot every other battleship for free in the game. Like that is, that's what makes it good. The speed is pretty good as well. You can, with the engine boost, can get up to 40 knots with brisk. And another strength of the Incomparable. Overmatching capability, I have talked about it. Basically like Yamato, Shikishima. That's what is about the Incomparable. But now comes a ton of weakness. By the way, before talking about the weakness, you do have a super heal. So yeah, you do have super heal. But again, it's a good heal, but not that good compared to, I would say, the Conqueror or maybe even San Vincent. Let's talk about weakness. Really low HP pool, 70,000 for a battleship. Pretty bad torpedo protection. You do have 10 kilometer torpedoes, which might add to the strength, but then gigantic turning circle. Gigantic turning circle, absolutely long ship. Look at this longness. Like this is so long in length that even if you want to dodge some torpedoes, like for example the Holland, the Småland, those torpedoes that have faster in speed, if you were broadsiding, even with the hydro, it's going to be difficult because of that length that you have in Incomparable. Gigantic citadel and a very, very slim armor. Like, it is terrible. Even Stalingrad at around 15, 16 kilometers can citadel you. Many cruisers that has good punchy guns can citadel you at around 10 kilometers. Big, vulnerable citadel. It does not have very thickness to it that you want to have for a battleship at tier 10. Extremely vulnerable. Man, it takes so much damage from AP on broadside, and it's difficult to turn out if you are spotted. And your concealment, which is 10.6 kilometer concealment, very impressive. Your air concealment is something like 10 kilometer. And if the CV wants to spot you, it can spot you for days unless they come up with CV reward, which is the biggest weakness. Your anti-defense is, it looks good, but it's almost like non-existent. CVs love to farm you. There's just no way. Anti-defense is not good, and you just take so much damage from torpedoes, from bombs, because of that length. Like, you're guaranteeing to get like all torpedo hits from many CVs right now. Like, especially the CVs like Shinano, especially the CVs like FDR. It's bad. It's really bad in that regard, man. Your armor, your HP will not gonna help you at all, which kind of makes it the biggest weakness. The Citadel is very vulnerable, just like I said. And I think these problems kind of exaggerate more, or I would say not exaggerate, they are prevalent and do worse more than the strengths that Incomparable has, which is the concealment and the guns, which are basically a bit unique factor, and the hydro and the speed boost alongside with that, that's also a unique factor. And also the biggest weakness, terrible, I think it's having one of the worst firing range in the entire game. Incomparable has 17.6 kilometer range. With reload mod, you cannot improve it. With range mod, you can, however, improve it to 20 kilometer. But even then, 20 kilometers is still lacking. So you have to play it at mid to close range, and the CVs will not gonna let you do that. So yeah, it's a big if. It's a big what if you have better entire concealment. Sorry, the air defense concealment. What if you have like better HP? There are so many what ifs to make it better. So I would say for me, it's not worth it. Uniqueness is still there in terms of concealment and guns, but at least it's better than Shikishima. At least it's better than Shikishima with accuracy that you have in the guns. But you don't expect to sit it at long range. It's not a sniper. It's sniping well at medium to close ranges. If you are unspotted. So, and that's the thing that it has the speciality. Otherwise, it's not worth it. Or you can only, and also you can only heal 10% of the citadel damage. Not worth it. I don't think so. You should buy it, and I haven't bought it for myself as well. It's very difficult. It's very difficult, and that's why I will not recommend you to buy it. But there are many other steel ships that you can buy and will do perform better. All right, the Plymouth, a tier 10 British light cruiser. It's kind of like you wanna be a radar Minotaur with a different, armor scheme, armor layout, which is Eden class cruiser, and having the smoke. Yes, and having the smoke and hydro. Plymouth is weird, guys. I mean, the strengths are good. The guns hit hard. The AP performs like Minotaur, but the DPM is significantly less. It has 600k DPM. The Minotaur has better DPM. It has less DPM, but it's not like too bad. But again, feels a bit lacking. Your firing angles are absolute garbage if you are not in smoke, which again will be a weakness. It's definitely onto the worst side. HP pool is again worse than Minotaur. I mean, you can improve it a bit, but pretty much similar numbers. I don't think so. It's like crazy good or crazy bad, but it's like okay, could have been improved. But yeah, AP almost like Minotaur, maybe slightly better shell velocity. I don't exactly know, but yeah, you have torpedoes. You have garbage anti-defense. You have maneuverability, which is also not that good. You have improved acceleration that you find on British cruisers. You do have good concealment, but you do have a radar. Just like I said before, you do have a radar. You have 9.1 kilometer concealment. You just basically spot destroy very quickly. You instantly pop the radar. You instantly smoke up. You don't have short burst smoke though, like the Svea. This is one thing that you need to know, and that's why it's a weird cruiser. I don't think so. It's like really impressive as of right now. I would play Minotaur or Brisbane over Plymouth. Smoke feels good, but your firing angles are not. If you are open watering in Plymouth, it's going to be very, very, very terrible experience. I mean, you have to show so much broadside that someone can clap you, man. And you don't have super heals, by the way, like Minotaur. Like, this is another thing. You do have normal heals, you do have hydro, but again, nothing too special. It's basically normal hydro. You do have radar, which makes it good, but again, with this sort of hull, squishy hull, at least somewhat tankier than Mino, but even then, like, look at the citadel armor, and there's also a citadel armor here behind this plating, and everything else is like 16 millimeter. So you will be overmatched. I mean, 19 millimeter side armor and deck armor is here. That can be resistant to 240 millimeter caliber guns, but even then, I mean, firing angles are a big downside, and I would play Minotaur, even Smoke Minotaur over Plymouth. DPM numbers are a bit unimpressive, to be honest. Anti-defense is pretty bad, man. Oh my goodness. I'm just gonna make it short. It's not worth it. There are many other steel ships out there that are. I would just simply say one thing: buy Svea, buy Svea, buy Svea. Please don't buy Plymouth. Just buy Svea first. So Svea is a better version. Svea has 80 shell. Svea is just going to do wonders. Plymouth is also good, but even, it just feels bad against Minotaur. It just does not make it. It wants to be interesting, but it's still not interesting as much as I would say Austin. As much I would say the Barbiano. So it's weird, and that's why I don't like it. I don't know if it's me or something, but I still say it's not worth it. Don't buy it. At least that's my personal opinion. And I would say, yeah, Plymouth is interesting, but still not worth it. Over at least the Minotaur. If you have Minotaur, man, play it. Alright, so the last but not the least, we have Tier 9 American cruiser, Vallejo, light cruiser. It's basically kind of mimicking Worcester at Tier 9, but without radar. You do have a special spotter plane that reloads quickly and can improve the range, which is pretty nice. You do have very good shells. the faster, not like archier shells compared to Worcester, so you have easier time landing shells maybe at long ranges. You're basically a long range with spotter plane HE spammer that just does not interest me. I don't think so at tier 9 it's worth it. I'm just gonna make it straightforward. You do have, like in terms of strengths, if I want to explain, you have like 38mm tech armor, which is gonna be resistant, like extremely resistant to overmatch. Like there's no matching capability that any battleship can use against that tech armor. You do have, however, again 25mm side armor, so that's also like raised quite high above waterline. And some of the shells will hit here, some of the shells will hit there. It's trying to become a booster at tier 9, but without radar. And I still feel like if you don't have radar, the game impact of the Vallejo is just basically relying on HE spamming. So I don't like it. It does not have anything special except for the special spotter plane, which I explained. A rapid takeoff spotter plane, we call it. No speed boost, good concealment though, but I mean, even then, it's cheap, but it does not bring anything unique into the table that makes it fun, like Barbiano or Austin. And that's why I'm not going to recommend you. Yeah, you can farm ships, but I mean, if I just say one thing, your game impact is also like suffering because of what? You don't have radar. Your DPM is also not like special, or maybe it can improve by something which makes it a gimmick. It's just a straightforward, good shell velocity sort of 152 caliber guns that might look impressive, but it's not. Like, you're not gonna get out that impact that you want to. Like all the other cruisers can do that. So what are you doing really? You're not doing anything. If you are trying to be unique or something, it's not like there's no uniqueness in this, unfortunately. Anti-defense is, however, good. Your defensive A-fire, you do have defensive A-fire, which makes it interesting. You don't have speed boost. Your speed is lacking, so it's not special. You don't have any gimmick going for it except for the spotter plane. Please don't spend your steel. Don't waste your steel. I have already explained this ship in my tier list. Not worth it, guys. So I think that's basically it. Vallejo is definitely not worth it. And with all the steel ship that I have shown you, decide for yourself what do you want to pick. So hopefully you will understand the steel aspects, the steel ships in the game. What are those ships? Why they are good? Why they are not good? Why they are worth it? I would say the ships that I have said are worth it are pretty much worthy to buy right now. They are pretty good. They are having uniqueness. They are having something going for it that makes them appealing. And so that's why, totally up to you guys. Please let me know in the comments what do you think about this short review. I know it's not short, but still, I want to explain everything as fast as possible, which I might not able to do that. So maybe I have missed something. Please take my apologies there. I tried my best, and that's why I'm here. If you like it, please subscribe, and I will catch you guys later.